Okay, making sure everything is working okay, and it's YouTube restream. Okay. Hold on, I gotta mute my YouTube now that I okay, restream. Okay. Alrighty. That seems to be working okay. All right, let's switch to desktop. Okay, welcome everybody. One to two people, whoever you are. I'm really late today, but that's okay. I mean, that's the way things go, the way things work. Um, I'll be breaking it about 45 minutes. It's just because of the way weird the day is going. The fact that I'm late. Anywho, what I was working on last time uh was this. I see some here. 2D. Oh, that's right. None of these actually load up for some weird reason just yet, or at least um, somehow set up visuals. Yeah, what's the deal? EditorRoom. Okay, so we're in EditorRoom right now, and this is supposed to. Okay, new room. I mean, it set up these Node 2Ds correctly, but somehow it's not syncing or whatever. So I have to figure out what the deal is. Why why it's not syncing up. See, there's no description in here because even though the room might have loaded up, somehow it's not loading into. Somehow it's not using these settings. I think that's the deal. There's no errors here though, which is interesting. I'm sure. New room settings. Maybe it's a problem in the editor map, not the room itself. Let me see something here. Update name label, set label, update name label, update name label. Self.label. Okay, right. So everything here, presumably the actual, I can actually check that with the debug, But sorry, but you know, I got ADHD or whatever, and so I'll just start talking mid-sentence as if you know what I'm talking about. I mean, you should probably already know that by now, that I kind of go off and I cut myself off and whatever. If you have been watching any length of time. But anyways, what I'm trying to say here is um, all of this is accessing the current values. They need to actually be accessing the room values instead. Um, now this that's right. I was gonna start adding the set the okay. This is set label, not get label, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go to Grok, and because I was using Grok to actually help me before, and I'm gonna use it again. Um, okay, so it's Monday, June 16th, 2025. Approximately 1:08 p.m. EDT. And I'm working on converting EditorRoom over to use the room settings member. Please acknowledge. Okay, so whenever I access anything that has to do with the label, I'm gonna have to get it to set. Let's do something here. We're at the room, inbound door specs. Am I exporting the settings? I did export the settings. So how come, where's settings here? Oh, there's settings. Oh, okay. Main menu. Okay, so I'll see they're loaded up. That means that everything's loaded up. And I just need to be able to connect everything. And honestly, I need to hmm. Okay, so the reason I'm pulling up Grok is to kind of help me with some code here. Um, you're working on. Okay. So the rooms seem to load just fine, and in fact, into the settings member. I'm now considering how to handle data in the how to handle editor room fields. For instance, if I edit the ID in the let me think something for a sec. I actually need that set thing, but it won't automatically set because I'm not using a setter, so I'm not really sure what to do about that. So let's say I want to change the ID. Say I want to change the ID, which changes actual name, which changes the label. And it's supposed to reflect in both ID and label. So I want to change the ID. So I get it to set the settings.id field. However, it also needs to update the name label in the panel. But since settings does not include any digital information, I have to change it. I have to change the EditorRoom's name label. In the panel, what's the settings does not include? How would you propose to do that? Do I need to duplicate the room fields? I thought that's what I was avoiding with the settings member. Now considering how to handle editor room fields like ID specifically, you want to update settings ID when changes the ID in editor room, and also update the name label of 2D to reflect the change. You're concerned about duplicating room fields, which you aimed to avoid by using settings. Here's my thoughts. Editor room, a Node 2D has an export bar settings room that holds game data. Editor room has a panel VBox name label for displaying the room's name in the editor. Changing EditorRoom ID should update settings ID in the name label text, but the settings contains no visual data, so EditorRoom must handle the label update. You want to avoid duplicating fields like ID in EditorRoom to keep the data centralized in settings. That's one solution. To handle updating settings ID in the name label without duplicating fields, remove EditorRoom.id field instead of maintaining separate, right? Access directly. So it's duplication. Yeah, I get it. Use a setter for settings ID. Modify EditorRoom to forward ID changes to settings.id. Update the name label in a single setter function. Since settings is a resource, changes to settings ID automatically reflect in the game data. That's fine. That means I have to update label and setter. Expose ID in the inspector. Use get property list in EditorRoom to expose settings ID as a virtual property in the inspector. Eliminate EditorRoom.id. Avoid duplicating. Add a virtual property in EditorRoom to expose settings ID in this inspector. Create a setter function in EditorRoom that updates settings ID, updates name label text, that calls setup visuals, ensuring EditorRoom create from JSON and other initialization settings first. Settings ID is always available. That's fine. Settings visuals. Inspector support. A virtual property lets you edit ID in the editor without storing it in editor. Use existing logic. Yeah. It doesn't make it abundant. Something about property list, huh? Yeah, use this setter. Okay, I get it. Setter. Expose ID in inspector. Use get property list in EditorRoom to expose settings ID as a virtual property in the inspector. Expose ID in inspector. Let me do a little research here. Read.engine.org. Let's go to documentation. Let's go to. Got it. Why did? Oh, I know what the problem is. What did it call it? Get property list. Get property list. Object class. Get property list. Override this method to provide a custom list of additional properties to handle by the engine. Should return a get property list as an array of dictionaries. The result is added to the array of get property lists. It should be formatted the same way each dictionary must contain at least name and type entries. You can use property can revert, property get revert. Displays the list of numbers shown in going from 0 to 5. Number count and control the list. Set NC number count. Get property list properties. Okay, that's just a set. Return properties. Get property. Set property. And properties. Be called to the editor. I don't really exactly know what I'm looking at as far as get property list, other than it gets a list of properties. I mean, I don't really understand it entirely. Don't really understand get property list. Could you explain it the way that a fifth grader could understand? Let's see what it comes up with. A toy box with a special notebook inside. Settings, approval instance that lists things like the toy's name. You want to show the toy's name on a sticker outside the toy box so people can see it without opening the box. But you don't want to write the name twice, once in the notebook and once in the sticker. That's extra work that might cause mistakes. And read out get property list is like telling the toy box instruction manual, hey, when someone looks at the box, show them the name from the notebook inside, even though the box itself doesn't have its own name sticker. It's a way to make the toy box's control panel, the readout inspector, display the notebook's ID as if it's part of the box without copying it. So when you use get property list in EditorRoom, you're saying list settings ID as something people can see and change in the inspector, but keep the actual ID stored only in settings. This keeps things simple, avoids having two copies of the same name. Okay, so does that mean the settings mean I don't need to export the settings member, since in reality I probably want to only access settings through the editor room, not editing the room directly. Correct? correct. You're correct. You don't need to export bar settings room if you want all interactions to go through EditorRoom and avoid directly editing the room instance in the inspector. Instead, you can use get property list to expose specific settings properties like ID label as virtual properties of the EditorRoom and inspector. This way, the inspector shows and lets you edit fields like IDs if they belong to EditorRoom. Changes go to settings ID, the room instance. The settings resource itself is hidden from the inspector, preventing direct edits to the room instance. Avoids direct edits. No duplication, syncs visuals. Instead of when you change ID in the inspector EditorRoom update settings. Need the fifth grader explanation for that. But what I do want is this. Number count. Export number count. Notify property list changed. Function get property list. Oh, so get property list is actually a I see. So it's a function that gets an event like input and like whatever else gets an event. And this actually tells it when it's changed. Well, this okay. Get property, set property. Hmm. Term properties. Okay. Maybe I can give you some example code. So I guess give me some example code. Doesn't need to be the editor script. Just a quick example. For one property. the example using get property list settings ID as a virtual property in the inspector without exploring the entire resource. Shows node, example of nested data resource like settings, exposing data.name as a virtual property, virtual name in the inspector. Change the virtual name, update data name, and you can add visual updates and set. Apply this pattern to EditorRoom settings for it. Okay, var data equals data new, nested resource like settings. Class name data extends resource. Okay, I got that. Name string default. Expose data.name as a virtual property in the inspector. Function get property list, which is I see. So this is an object. This is one particular property. It's actually a lot of text. You know, it's not very simple. It's not as simple as you know, exposing something. But if I need to go through one to get access to the rest of it, I mean, I guess that's probably a good idea. Type string, properties default, property hint none, hint string, return properties. Handle getting, setting, virtual, function get, property, function set, property. Okay. I mean, that is even what it showed. It showed in the docs. I just didn't understand what I was looking at. So this is like the same way. Property name, number. Okay. It looks like a formatted. So what, an integer or something? I don't know. Oh, I see. Yeah. %D. That means a decimal number, I think. Because it's just formatting a string. Type int. Hint, property hint, enum. Hint string. Property hint enum. Okay, let's ask it what hint and hint string are. Usage. Does it say usage over here? The docs doesn't show usage in there. Okay, so expose data name as a property. Return data.name. I see. Data.name equals value. I see. Maybe it was in Ditto 4.3. Returns an array of dictionaries, define custom properties for the inspector as documented in the official read.docs. for each property typically include name, type, hint. Specifies a property hint. Additional hint data for names or file paths. List usages are required or optional key for which aligns with your observation. However, usage is a valid key in Redout's property system used to control how properties are displayed and stored. Property usage default. Its absence from the get property list does suggest it's not mandatory, but still supported. Not deprecated. The usage key is not deprecated. It's used in property definitions, creating properties via get property list or setting them in get property list. Focus on the required keys. Revise example. Okay. Okay, I get it. So this is the bulk of the text here. This will be kind of tricky too when I go to save data and stuff too, because I'll have to make sure I'm saving out the actual room data, not anything else. Do you know if the keys are listed in the docs somewhere? Custom class for the property. Let's rare for get property list. Object get property list. Yeah. Property info. Property info. Okay, what about property info? Object class, okay. Oh, type name, hint, hint string, and usage flags. It is in there though, and Grok was correct. That's kind of interesting. Uh, this string property can take any string, but the editor will only allow the defined hint ones. No usage flags were specified, as the default ones are property usage storage and property usage editor. Plenty of hints and hint usage flags available in object.h. Give them a check. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, I guess I found property info. It talks about multiple usage flags and suggests looking in one of the actual header files. I don't have those files at hand, so I'll just stick to what you posted here. What is hint and hint string? How are they used? You've found the property info documentation. Come on. Well, shoot, it's almost 1:45 right now. It's almost time for me to take my break, which is, of course, is early, but it's just because I started late and I did everything late. And tomorrow I should be on time, I think. I hope. Um, let's see, usage flags, reference header files. This is like a tag that tells Redox Inspector how to show a property in a special way. For example, you can say this is number with a range, or this is a file path. It helps the inspector know what kind of control, like a slider or a file picker, to use when you edit the property. Hint string, this is extra info hint, like it's giving the inspector specific instructions. For this range, go from 0 to 100 for this file. How to use. You set it to a number from property hint enum to choose a behavior. For example, hint none, no special behavior, just plain field. Hint range shows a number with a slider, e.g. for float or int. Okay. These are all strings anyway, so property hint range shows a property hint file shows a file picker button. And provide a string to give details for the hint. For example, property hint range use 0, 100, 1, min 0, max 100, step 1. Property hint file use star.txt, only show .text files. Drop down with those options. Re-exposing setting ID as a virtual property hint to none and hint string. For example, since ID is a string with no special requirements, if they had numeric property room size, you might hint property range hint string to show a slider from 1 to 100. Key points. Hint picks the inspector's input style. Text slider file picker. Hint string adds specific rules for each style. Range limits, file filters. For settings, ID, property hint none, and an empty hint string are fine as explained string. Check Okay. I see. So if property equals virtual name, name, virtual name. This is just to select it. This is part of the dictionary. And then we modify. Okay. If you later expose other properties, settings, description, multi-line text, you could use hint. Property hint, multi-line text. You don't need header files. The property info and property hint docs online cover what you need. Okay. Property hint, I see. So let's go to property. Let's go check out property hint. Um, Property hint. None. No hint for the editor. Range. Enum suggestion. Hint easing. Hint leak. Hint flags. Okay. Global resource. Multi-line text. For multi-line text. Shoot, I'm supposed to be taking my break right now. For multi-line text, the hint string can still be blank, right? The yes, hint can be blank. Display property as a resizable text box, like a text area with no additional configuration needs. So hint string is perfectly fine. Key points doesn't require hint string. Okay. Okay, thanks. I need a break. I'll see you later. Talk to you later. Okay, so I'm gonna go to a break now. And I don't know, I'll be back in about 30 minutes, essentially, like normal. So 2:20 or something. On break, I'm gonna mute the mic. Then I'm gonna go ahead and. Sorry, I didn't notice you there, Rook. I'm going on break though. So I'll see you in about 30 minutes. My mic was on. Well, anyways, you'll know I'm on break because I typed it in there. So, Okay, I am back. Okay. Uh, let's see something here. Let's switch back to desktop. All right. Back. Quick. Uh, question. Apparently, I got somebody. Oh yeah. Okay. What do we got? All right. So, okay, quick question. Create from JSON does actually create a new room. In fact, since it's exposed in the inspector, I can see it's loading the room data properly. Um, what's the easiest way to make sure that the room exists? Just in case there's a problem. Okay. You asked about the status function that creates a room instance or null. Load fails. Easiest way if room exists is to verify the return value before assigning it to EditorRoom.settings. Shows the EditorRoom only perceives a valid room instance. Check if the result is non-null. Assign it. If it's null, return a null from the indicate failure, letting the caller handle the error. Already returns null. Right. Simple if check catches this value, preventing EditorRoom from using the valid settings. Create new room equals new room data. Return null. Let's see if I'm not already doing that. Where is it? Load data from JSON does okay. I'm actually not create room. Create room from JSON. Oh, create from JSON. Okay. New room settings. New room setup visuals. You know, okay, so okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and provide. I think I just need to make sure that let's see some here. If new room settings, else return null, and then Control C. Okay. Okay, so here's the create function in EditorRoom.gd. Now, I think as per your suggestion, I should move return new room. I should move new room dot setup visuals into the if new room dot settings block, and then also put an else after the if new room block. As indicated by an if new room. With a return null. So that it won't return a room unless the actual room data is there. Does this sound correct? And it probably should sound correct. I could probably just do it, but I wanted a... So, if I do this, we only want to set up visuals in the room, even though the room itself is like, okay, so it creates, we created a new room, which is just new. It's a blank, empty room, or whatever. And then we want to do this. Now, here, what I need to do is else return no. Like so. That should mean that and I just did it. I didn't actually need to, I guess, um, acknowledged. And also have to do. See that? Granted, you know, the indentation should be, I guess, okay. Like, this is okay. The indentation is here. I don't need extra parentheses or anything. Even for the function, although I might put it in there to keep consistency. But you're doing this and this, if you look at this, and you kind of like, um, even though some of these things are concise, that's a lot of space. Now, if I had the opening and closing blocks, characters, like the curly brackets in there, I could easily kind of visually pick apart the thing in my head. And even this is not really that bad, but you know, this goes into this, and then this goes into that, then it comes out of here, then it goes in there, and then it comes out there, and you kind of like don't exactly know where the end is, you know. Obviously, these line up here, so that means that the end of this is actually down here because it goes back. But when you're just glancing over it, you can't tell that. I mean, you can't go, oh yeah, that ends that. That was for this for loop. Why? Because I can't even see the for loop up here. Now, if I have the closing bracket and I have, I commented it, like I do when I'm doing C/C++, or even what I was just doing just now with this up here, now I can easily see it. See, it's got this up here, this got this here, right? And then this says end of new room. So I automatically know, I mean, other than going up there, like you can look at it visually, um, I know that this is all the same code block, right? And so I could also tell Grok exactly what I was doing. So I move this up into here, into the if new room settings, because I don't need to set up visuals if the settings doesn't load. If the settings doesn't load properly, then you know, so new room settings, and it'll give me a null if there's a problem. If there's a if there's a problem here, I return null so that the calling can actually look and actually I think the editor map already has a thing that would actually check for null. I think would check for null. Doesn't necessarily mean it would, but it should because it's returning a room. So I'd be checking, you know, if it's valid, if it's not null, then do something with it. So even though an editor room exists, if the room settings doesn't exist, then I don't want the new room to exist either. So I don't want it returning that. Anyway, so this just makes this a lot clearer, I think, or a lot more visible at a glance, right? Because now you have something that indicates where the indentation stops and starts, whereas in some of these other deals you don't really have that. Anyways, post changes are correct and align with my suggestion. Robustly handle where moving set. This ensures set up visuals, sets up the panel labels, only runs if new room settings is a valid room instance, avoiding potential errors. It keeps visuals set up tied to successful room data loading, maintaining consistency, adding else return null after the new if room block. Returning null if new room settings is null. Prevents returning an incomplete editor room, one without valid game data. This matches existing error handling pattern. The commented out check ensures that editor map.gd, the caller, can handle the failure gracefully. If new room check is technically redundant since new room equals always creates a valid editor room instance. However, keeping it doesn't hurt and adds defensive programming, especially if you later modify how new room was created. You can simplify by removing if new room and just check new room settings, but your structure is fine as is. Suggested adjustments. Your plan is spot on. Additional notes, error logging. Consider adding a print failed to load a room in the else block for debugging. Door creation check. If you enter a new door is good, but ensure EditorDoor.create never returns null. Currently doesn't per EditorDoor. You might want to skip invalid doors or log a warning. Yeah, I wasn't doing the doors yet. Just getting the rest of this working to where it looks like it's supposed to. And then when I did that, then I go in and actually do the separation. Whereas the well, I see it actually makes a editor door. It makes a I haven't actually modified editor door yet. This creates a new. Oh, I see. Oh, but it does create a settings for door, and that's the thing that I'm going to change. it's not going to create. It's not going to have the settings there. It's just going to have the color value, and then I just have to maintain sync, which is, I mean, if you can do it another way, something that's maybe more uh, robust or easier, maybe, or more efficient or whatever, then it's probably a good way to do it. But I'm just going to make sure that I interact with it the same way. It's going to be an array, or it could actually be a dictionary. I'm considering doing a dictionary because I can still iterate over a dictionary, and I don't need the index. I can just use the same ID, right? Anyways, so we are going to, okay, so if new room, okay, so what it's saying is, this is sort of redundant. Um, and I don't actually strictly need that. So maybe I won't use that. We're gonna do a thing here though. We are going to Shift Tab, and I get it. And we're gonna do this, and there. So now, it'll be even more simplified here, just because I commented those out. Now, so this is gonna be the new. I don't know if I JSON. And also, let's do a thing here. Let's go check and make sure rooms are still okay, right? Yeah, they look fine. Okay, good. Well, obviously they were loading correctly, but I was just making sure here. Copy. Let's go back to Grok. Here's the new function with legacy code commented out. Shift enter. Okay, Control V. I was reading for a second. Okay, it can tell me if it looks alright when it's ready. And so what I'm going to do here is I am just going to go ahead and make sure everything is saved, and I'm going to reload. Here, actually, let's do this. I'm going to actually go and... Thanks for the welcome back, Rook. I'm going to go ahead and go in here and reload. So I want to make sure that it's still looking like it should, like it did. And there's still no errors, and it should still look the same, like it's, there's no doors or anything here just yet, because I still have to expose the properties. I still got to add them in there, have it be able to change that data. Okay. So, okay, so the plan here is to make sure this code is refactored first, and make sure that it's using, like I said, the room, the editor room contains a settings member, which contains the old room. Let's see, it contains the actual room. So it has the room actual room the room data as a member, and then EditorDoor will only have the color value, and it will sync itself with the actual room doors by index or by key, which I think I'm going to use a dictionary, so I think it's going to be by key, which makes it really easy then, because it can access the same thing basically. And then after I get this refactored to working correctly that ways, I'm gonna have Grok help me figure out how to create a new um, node, like the custom line, but it's gonna be like a custom, like a drawing. I don't like a canvas or something. It's not gonna be actual canvas, like the actual like data structure canvas or whatever, but it's going to be a it's going to be its own node 2D, and then I'm going to have collections of lines, and they're going to be line segment. So a path, you could call it a path, maybe I could call it a path. So a collection of paths, a collection of line segments. So they'll have multiple line segments. So that way I can reroute the lines any way I want, so that they can avoid things. I guess I'll have a little pathfinding. I'm not really that comfortable doing pathfinding, but hopefully it'll just be minimal, and plus, hopefully Grok can help me out pretty easily. Okay, so see, it's almost time for me to be done now. See, and I was just doing was just explaining things, and I didn't get that much done today. But I mean, that's the way that goes usually, right? Oh, where's create JSON? Up. Okay. And let's go back to Grok. Acknowledged. Implemented changes, moving the set visuals, new adding block. Those come out for reference. The updated function is correct, aligns with the proposed approach. Key points, error handling, the ensures simplification, removing visual sync are correctly gated by new room settings, avoiding null reference errors. Current issues, consider adding. Oh, yeah, I guess failed to load room. I can just do that in the else block for clarity. Yeah. We'll do that here. In fact, I won't even add a Here, I'll do my formatting though, like I like to do, extra white space. But I won't even add a like a closing opening character, because I don't really need to. It's only like 2 lines, and you can easily see what that is and what that's about. Okay. So. Okay. For the EditorRoom, if you want feedback on testing this, education, empty doors. Won't worry about that, but the one thing that I will need to do is I'll need to do this property thing. So function get property list or a dictionary. And I can go ahead and property hint multi-line, I think. Essentially can just copy this, I think, and then I can modify it to suit my purposes. So we'll start with the description, just because actually it's going to do the same thing. We'll start with the description anyways. Actually, let's go ahead and actually update. Okay. Door.gd. Oh, I didn't actually change that. Okay. Does that mean that visual? Okay. Named some things. Started work I don't know what to say. Editor room and EditorDoor updates. Commit to main. Push origin. That way, when I remove the comments to the one function, that way I can just actually remove these comments. Do like that. And let's go down to, oh. All right, looks good. Everything good. Current version now. B. 315. I wonder if I can just do the one property here and make it work. Which is fine. It's using the EditorDoor color loop. Key points, debugging improvement. The print statement will help trace clean up code, removing legacy code, no functional changes, confirmation. Okay. So let's go ahead and go back here. Update. We're just go ahead and say update editor room. When it does that, it usually just means that I've done a little bit or did nothing to it or whatever. I don't need to know exactly. Maybe I should be pretty more explicit though, but I don't like using this GitHub thing really because it causes me problems. I like the old-fashioned way. I know it's less efficient. It's prone to failure on devices that are too old or air out or something. So if I lose it, I might lose it if I don't have it in multiple places. It creates extra copies of something where you just need the changes, which is usually what a version control software does. But I'm gonna go ahead and do this anyways. Code, removing common legacy code changes. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. Copy. Yes, Control C. I don't know. I didn't want to copy all the text. I just wanted to copy that one part of the text. So we're gonna go up here to oh, I know there's one thing I should have done though. Okay, actually let's do a couple of things here. Let's here. Delete that, and then what I can do here is this load data from JSON here. Interesting. Control K. I'm just going to reload save scene. There's no errors there. There's probably no errors otherwise. I'm going to go ahead and removed load data from JSON from EditorRoom commit push origin. Okay, and then let's just go ahead and since I did that, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. You know, I have the old version, the older version of the software, and it's still got all this code in there. So the older project, not just on anyways. Go S, save. Here, let's just go ahead and interesting. Modified editor room. Oh, I see, because I loaded, yeah. Modified editor room. Clean, moved, commented, function, load data, JSON. Commit to main, Trojan. Let me do a real quick thing here. Oh, I didn't mean to close that, but that's okay. I'll reopen it if I need to here in just a second. Just making sure it's not gonna throw me any weird errors that I don't know about. Okay, that's good. Keeps things cleaner too in the code, really. Create doors from specs. Okay. Yeah, when we create doors from specs, we're actually going to have it, create doors from specs. We're going to have it create the new doors, which is actually regular door. Well, actually, yeah, we'll go back and we'll self.doors append new door, add child new door. We're just going to add the visual door, the editor door, but we'll actually append the doors to the room, and we'll have the room actually do that. Anyways, we'll access it via room. We'll have it do it. In fact, I think it has create doors from specs. I think it has its own function to do that. So, and since door spec is in there, door specs aren't going to be here, I don't think. I think I'm going to remove door specs here. Okay, let's go to room real quick. Let's go to settings. Right. Okay, let's go to another room. Go to settings. Okay, that's cool. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to make sure that settings is not exportable variable anymore, because eventually, now I'm going to do this old-fashioned way. So I'm going to put a comment, Control C, and then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to remove the export part. And it should not error out or anything. So let's just reload. Here, let's clear this out and reload save scene. Scene, reload, save scene. Like so. Okay. And now I can't access it in here now until I expose properties here. So the next thing I want to do is label, update name label, set description, update description label. Okay, so we are going to go here. We're not going to have a var description anymore. We are going to... Actually, I wonder where I should put these, because I was putting these all like together. Should I put it at the top? Or should I go down to... Where is inbound rooms? There's door specs. There's the doors array. Get door data. Doors, EditorDoor, and door settings. And door.settings. Door data. So this already accesses the settings here, which is fine when it gets to the door data. Previous position, etc., and so forth. Visuals, door lines, those are going to be there. Original ID and previous position. Those have to do with the visuals, so those are stated right here too. Okay, that's all right. So let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and attempt to how come I can't copy this text? I mean, how come I can't copy it like copy? I can do this up here, but is this copy contents? This is going to copy the whole contents. I didn't want to do it that way, but it's going to be okay. All right, so we don't need any of this stuff. Kind of doesn't matter, right? And that's okay, and we're not going to worry about that. What we are going to do is we're going to modify this slightly. First, I'm going to go ahead and do this. We are going to do, the only one thing we're going to do right now is the one property. Now, I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to do my thing that I do here. Let's see here. Oops. Can I tab that in, or is that going to error on me? I don't think it'll error. In fact, I'll probably put it here. I'll do my thing here that I do too. And that is this, and this like that. And we're going to call this infunc get property list. Like so. And this is kind of okay to leave it like it is. And name, virtual name. Virtual name is what I call the property. Right? Okay. So in this example, property list code, you have virtual name in there. Is there a reason that I can't just call it name or whatever? For instance, ID. So it would look like name, name, colon, name. Let's see. Referring to the get property list example I provided to expose data names of virtual property, you ask. Yes, you can use name ID and get property list to expose data name settings ID as a virtual property name. The reason I use virtual name in the examples to avoid confusion with the actual property data name to illustrate that the virtual property name can differ from underlying field. However, naming it the same is perfectly valid and often clear for your use case. Okay, why use virtual name? Clarity example, avoiding confusion. Okay, got it. No conflicts using. Doesn't already have a property named ID. Right. Simplicity. Use their names for simplicity as long as there's no overlap. Okay, that's good. So I'm gonna call this description. And I'm also gonna call this description type. Okay, so what was the thing for description hint property hint multi-line? I think it was. Yes, you're correct. For settings description, multi-line text field. Name, description, type string, string. Okay. Property hint. I'm gonna say multi-line. Okay, multi-line text. It already knows it. Awesome. Now get property. Property equals description. And Control C and Control V. And we're doing settings dot description. That. And here we're also going actually let's copy this. Control C, Control V, and here we're going to do Control V. And we're going to add this little extra bit of space that I like to add. And there we go. That should get me in the door, I think. But now I have to actually go down to description and okay, so then the other thing I have to do is wait a second, where is the thing? Oh, I guess I put it at the bottom, didn't I? Where's description? Description, this one. Okay. Update description label. So we're gonna do Control C. We're gonna go down to the property. We're gonna go to set. And then we're going to go ahead and that in there, which is up. I don't know if maybe I'll move move this down there. I don't know. We'll see. It doesn't really strictly need to be down there right now. But what I'm going to do here is hopefully, Control K, Control S. Not declared in current scope. $60. Okay. Truncate text. Description. Oh. So let's do self.settings description. Because all we're doing here is, you know what? Let's do something here. Let's do it. I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way again. Control C, V, and then we're gonna do what I said. Self.settings description. So, okay, we're gonna save that. And then 514 or 515 now. 515. Oh, I can just go down here. And that is we're gonna do the same thing here. Control C, V. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna say self.settings.description. That way. Okay. Standalone expression. All right. Well, that's kind of weird, but I mean, I guess if it's got to be that way, I like, I like, actually, we'll just put this back the way it was. I don't really like it like this, really, but it's still clear what it is and stuff, so should be all right, I think. Okay. ID has name is true. Continuing. Where? Okay, so where did I have name in here? Description. Property equals description. Return settings. Return null. If I'm not sure why this is a problem here. ID has name. See something here. It doesn't have a name. Continuing. Why? Where do I have name at? I'm gonna close this and restart it and see if it gives me the same errors. So just in case, sometimes it just acts weird until you actually reload it. And it's all right, I guess. It's not showing up in here. No, it's just a description, right? Description. So somehow this is still didn't work though. No, it did go. It did. It did. It did. Okay. Where is... that? What does that mean? Filter properties. Okay. All right. So we're still having some error here, but that is part of that's working. The description is showing up properly. But I don't know. I'm not sure why. Let's go ahead and something to do with name. I'm not sure why. Here, select all. Copy. What's that? Right now. Okay, so the description is actually showing up in the actual panel. It's not somehow being exposed in the inspector, and I'm getting an error. Getting this error. Here's the code for EditorRoom. I'm only exposing the description. Control V. Let's go all the way back up to the top. Okay, so then let's copy the error. Copy. Maybe I should go ahead and copy this part too. Oh, selected node, that doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm getting this error. Okay, let's see what it says. What did I do wrong? I must have done something wrong. Script for you're encountering an error when exposing, that settings description is showing up in the panel, but not in the inspector as expected. Let's address the error in inspector. Should focus on get property list for implementation for description. Let's see. Is true continuing. Occurs in readouts G script. Why did it do that? Doggone ya. In fact, I don't want you to. Well, maybe it's only a small amount deal. But is this my whole? What's the deal here? No, it's thing, right? Oh, let's go back up here this ways. Editor room, partial text. Okay, so description via property list is missing. I don't have name. I'm calling it description. I'm not calling it name. Oh, name is what it is. I see. Huh. Name. So the name that I want to call it is name. It's saying name doesn't exist in here. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, I got it. I got it. Let's call this name. Name type. Okay. Well, let's clear that out. Let's scene reload save scene. And now I don't get any errors. That's good. I see it. Okay, good. Very good. Um, I guess I should go ahead and call it a day. Don't have to use GitHub, just use Git. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess I could learn to use Git. I'm using GitHub so I can actually post it online. I don't know. You can tell me the reasons why you don't think I should post it online. I guess maybe because they have access to your code. You know, it's not like I'm doing anything novel here exactly. I don't mind that much. But if you want to suggest something other than GitHub for allowing me to share it online that doesn't require like GitHub like keeping it or something, I don't know if that's the deal. Because I don't mind if people just kind of take it and use it. Like I said, I'm not doing anything novel or anything original here. It's just what it is. Anyways, I need to do my little thing here, and then I can call it a day. And then Rick, we can discuss about using Git in the IRC channel when I am done in Game Designers. But in the meantime, I need to go ahead and do my little recording before I shut down here. So let me start my recording, and let's go here. Today is Monday, June 16th, 2025, and today what I got done is... Okay, I did get some stuff done. Um, as you can see here, the description is showing up like it's supposed to, and that's because of the way I did the script. So what I'm doing is I'm now using the room data as game data specifically. It's a member in EditorRoom. It's called settings, and then I am actually, let me check something here too. I click on the room and description. Oh, there's the description. So it's showing up just as though the description text was actually in EditorRoom, but now it's actually using the room data. See, and I did that by using get property list. So get property list apparently has an array of dictionaries, right? This is a single dictionary, and so I'd hit comma, and I might put that back down on its own deal here. Anyways, so it's called description. It's a multi-line text, and now when I edit it or when I view it or edit it, it should, in fact, it should actually update the actual. Here. I think I'm taking too long with this recording. Maybe I should restart the recording. Um, let's see. Where is okay? Main menu. When to start? let's just go ahead and if I remove this. So now it just works just like it did. Only now it's using the room data directly. It's not. It doesn't actually. It's not actually existing in EditorRoom. So, okay, main menu. Okay, I'm gonna restart this. Well, I'm not gonna restart the recording. I'm gonna start new from the recording, and it doesn't matter. In fact, I'm not gonna even save this because this isn't gonna save anyways. This is the actual data in here. So it's just gonna reload the next time, and I have to implement the save thing. Okay, so let me start over again. So I'm gonna clap. And I'm gonna start over again. Okay, Monday, June 16th, 2025, and today I made the first step in decoupling the data from the actual visuals here. And so I'm using get property list to expose the description property of the room. And the room instance is called settings because it was supposed to show up as settings, although right now it doesn't really matter that much because it's going to be exposed directly in the inspector as what it is, which is in this case is description. And I'm going to have these other things up here kind of do the same thing. And so that's pretty much what I got done today. Did some refactoring and cleaned stuff up a little bit. And so the other thing that I did was actually finish. Where is it at? Create from JSON. So I finished create from JSON. I removed the load from JSON because Room is now handling that, which is here, create from JSON, and clean up a few things, and Control Z. Okay. We can save that like that. Okay. And that's what I did for today. So I will talk to you later. Okay, so Rook, I guess it's just you and me here. And thanks for stopping by, like always. And I am going to go ahead and check out now. Thank you for watching. And mic off.